My name is Yves Bernard Ningabire, Director General for Planning in the Ministry of Local Government.
My name's Innocent Murasi. I work for the Local Governance Institute as the director, which is under the Rwanda Association of Local Government Authorities, RALGA.
So my names are Jean Bosco Rushingabigwi. I'm in charge of communications at RALGA, which is the Rwanda Association of Local Government Authorities. But at the same time, I'm coordinating a project which is meant to localize the Sustainable Development Goals. Rwanda participated in the pilot phase, and this was based on the fact that it seems that Rwanda performed well for the MDGs.
5 years ago, when even the discussions start, so there was extensive discussions and consultation. But I remember there was a team working with a number of institutions, working with civil society and other key stakeholders, whereby people were trying to provide inputs, to what could be informing, the SDGs. We had just received the report on the implementation of the MDGs. So as government, so it was very interesting now to see what could we put forward to try and capture especially those areas that had not been met, but also trying to think in a bit wider perspective. Okay, I remember with MDGs there was we still had a lot in terms of education, but quality-wise, there's these issues of dealing with the environment as well. You could see it was something that was still far from being reached.
The new thing is that they're ambitious, and personally I really like that. So it's ambitious, and let's try by 2030 to get rid of poverty. Wow, it's at least if we can acquire 50 of it, it will be a great achievement. So it's ambitious. Otherwise, it's about health. And another thing is it's global standards. So you can say, after all, Rwandans deserve to have the same standards as Americans, as Europeans. So it's a good standard level for the Rwandan people to follow.
I like the zero hunger because, that's the basic a person needs to have. You need to have food before you think about everything else. So if we manage to eradicate hunger in Rwanda or even in other countries, I think this will be the starting point of thinking on bigger things, because you cannot think big when you are hungry.
By considering the SDG 1, it's about no poverty, and making it practical with the local governments. We've got people who are identified as poor and those who are identified very poor, and we have gone a step ahead at least to identify all those and try to profile each of their households. So the aim at the local level, if we say no poverty, so at least we can understand, the kind of burden or the kind of journey that we have to go to ensure that by the end of the SDG timeline, even before that, at least every local leader could claim, at least in my sector, in my village, in my cell, there is no poor persons. And this is through a number of social protection programs implemented at the local level.
Like in Rwanda, we are in a decentralization approach. So almost everything that has to be implemented in Rwanda is by local leaders. So including the SDGs. So the first thing is that they need to understand it. And then, depending on the level, also push the people under them to. And then they will also play a key role in also monitoring, but also sensitizing, particularly sensitization. Because at village level, for example, their main role is to sensitize people, tell people that you need to be healthy for the for us to, I mean, for the integrated development. You need to send your kids to school. I mean, at village level, it's really sensitization.
So Rwanda has pledged to implement SDGs like many other countries. So SDGs, it's something, of course, embedded in our programs, but it has also some specific indicators which we have to report to. So it's important for local government to understand something that has to be with programs that we already have, but keep an eye on the metadata, on the indicators that we have to report on, because I guess will be reported internationally. So it's very important that they understand and that they put a demarcation line between what is going to be reported nationally, but also what is going to be reported at the international level.
Country also adopted a kind of roadmap, for the domestication of the SDGs, and I think this is something that is still going on. I remember that started in 2017, which is expected to be completed this year, with the final adoption of the key indicators that the country is going to be pursuing after approval by relevant institutions.
In the project, I'm coordinating with this localizing the Sustainable Development Goal, which supported 3 pilot districts. We developed draft monitoring tools. Councillors are going to adopt it, and then we'll be using that. But in the meantime, we would like to spread it countrywide. If DDS for 6 years, it means we will be having 2 generations of DDSs before we reach the 2030. So by the time we reach the first phase, we should be able to know where we still have to push, and then maybe for the second generation we'll be comfortable.
So local leaders are accountable to both citizens, but they're also accountable to central governments, institutions. So it means that they also have to make sure that they implement in a very successful way SDGs to have an impact on the citizens, but to also remember the reporting at the national level is the sum of achievement from different districts. So districts have also to report correctly and successfully to SDGs.
The SDGs are about everyday life. Take advantage of the SDGs as the potentials to help them address, development, socio-economic development issues around them. So in one word, I would advise them to take them that easy and take them as solutions to the existing challenges.